Okay, thanks. Shh, come on. Please teach you now you need to be quiet or you're not going to get anything. Okay, okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, or you should see on your screen, we do have the
Can you open this for me?
why does it say new share? No, I don't want that.
Can you open this?
Okay. You do see the Canary Cafe on your screen, correct?
And me like to.
I just want to make sure we're all seeing the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so this is my little Canary Cafe that I made for today. And really what this is a Bitmoji or virtual classroom. Now, so we'll start right here. Today is meant to be an overview of a bunch of different things. When Michelle asked me to do this PD, and I asked her what exactly she wanted me to show, she said that for today, she wanted me to show a little bit of everything, and that in future PDs in November, we can dive deeper into what some of these things, depending on how you all give feedback for today. So we're going to use your feedback later on today to sort of determine the next steps in training. I am going to start today with a poll. So if you wouldn't mind, it just simply asks you, what are you here to learn? And polls are really great. You can do this with your classes. You set up a poll in your settings on your Zoom meetings, and you can pre-set the poll so that when you launch a meeting, the poll is there waiting for you. It gives you feedback in real time. You can see, what I can see right now is the poll is set for about 30 seconds, well, it counts up the time. So we're at 33 seconds now. It also tells me how many attendees out of the 48 that are here have submitted. Terry, I don't know why you can't hit submit.
It wouldn't let me submit either, but it's because I didn't go down to the second question and answer it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there is two questions to this poll. The first question does ask, what are you really here to see? And then the second question asks if you would be interested in having more after this. So please make sure you answer both. Polls are a really great way to check that kids are actually there behind the screen. I don't know about you, but I pick and choose my battles. And one of the battles I'm not really fighting right now is the camera battle. If I ask you to go on camera and you do, great. But if not, one of the things you can do to check if they're really behind the screen is to put up a poll. Okay, you can have a poll set up that you don't use. You don't actually have to use your polls, but you can set it up and have it waiting for you. And all you have to do is click launch poll for it to be there. So it could be a very, just a random question. But if you don't know that students are really sitting behind the camera and you suspect maybe they're not, launch a poll, ask the question, and you're going to know right away who's really there and who's not there. Okay, so that's a really quick and easy trick that you can use without having to sort of fight the camera battle. John, there's two questions. So I think once you do the second question, you can hit submit.
Michelle,
I'm going to give you guys about.
How do you even set up a poll? I'm still back on the poll.
Oh, sure. So setting up a poll comes from the Zoom, in your Zoom. So when you go to set up, where you go to set up a meeting?
Okay, I know where you're talking about now.
If you scroll down there, you have a bunch of different options. One of them that I use today for you guys as well is that I muted all of you when you enter the room. That really cuts down on the noise. You can unmute yourselves, but when you all entered the room today, I had you unmuted.
Okay.
I had you muted. So
at the bottom of the screen. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, so all you do is you enable it, and then you can go into polling and you can set up the poll ahead of time. And like I said, you don't need to use it. You can just have it there in case you want it. So like I said, for those kids, if you don't want to fight that battle all the time on whether or not kids are really in your class, you don't want to fight that camera battle. Don't fight the camera battle. Use a poll. Use it to your advantage. Then you know right away who was there and who wasn't there. okay? So here are the results of our poll. So it looks like everything's about even. Virtual classrooms got a little bit more. And then we want more. A lot of people want more. Okay, awesome, great. You can relaunch the poll too. So I could, if we had a bunch of people come in later, I can relaunch that poll. So that if I want to check later on, if I think kids maybe left the room, you can launch it sort of whenever you want. So that's a really quick little trick to use to stop sort of that camera battle, okay? So this is a Bitmoji classroom. We'll start here first. And really all it is a Google slide deck with different pictures and photos, different images that you set up. You can save your background as an image and then go back in and load it as a background so it doesn't move. So if I were to get out of present mode and I were to show you just this slide deck, I can, even if I'm just in the slide itself, I can basically click anything except for what I wrote on the menu and it won't move, because what I did was I set up the entire room. Ooh, I don't know what just happened. Oh, I know what I did, never mind. That's the master, okay. I set up the entire room and then I saved it as a background. And I can show you that in a more like advanced sort of session later. So that way, when I send this or share this with kids, they can go clicking around all they want. They're not gonna move anything, okay? So let's talk about Bitmoji classrooms, virtual classrooms. These are really great for keeping different kinds of information in one place. Students learn to open the classroom and they learn to click on different photos for links to information. You can customize this any way you want. You can create just about any type of room you want. For today, I didn't want to make a classroom. I wanted to make something a little bit more fun. So I turned, you all know my Starbucks obsession is real. And so I turned Starbucks into the Canary Cafe. John too, I know, John and I frequently run into each other at Starbucks. So I turned a Starbucks into the Canary Cafe today. You can do all kinds of different rooms. You can make a lounge for kids, looks like beanbag chairs. You can make a traditional classroom. You can make little rooms for different, you can make a group meeting room with tables and whatever. So you can make any kind of backdrop that you want. You can use a virtual classroom with or without a Bitmoji. I just think the Bitmoji is fun and cute. And so, our kids are used to seeing a teacher in their classroom, and the Bitmoji puts a person in the classroom, but you don't need to do that. That is not a necessity for a virtual classroom. It's just something that's like a fun little extra. One of the things I will say is if you do decide that you want to learn how to create a virtual classroom or you have one already, check all of your links before you post, make sure that they work for you. Or if you're not sure that they're gonna work for somebody else, have a person that you know that you can send the links to the classroom and have them check your links for you, okay? And we'll talk about different ways to do that in a second. If you want your classroom to open directly into present mode, and this is the thing that I really love. So if you were to go to any of my Google Classrooms right now and you go to the classwork tab, the very first topic I have is my virtual classroom. And I have my classroom link loaded there. My virtual classroom is one slide. I have it set up so that when students click on that link, it opens directly in the present mode. It doesn't open as a slide deck normally would. So it opens just the exact way that you're seeing everything now, okay? That basically disables the student from being able to play around with things. I also made it so that they're only the viewer. So even if they were able to somehow, if I forgot to set something up right and they were able to get it back to the editable slide deck, they wouldn't really be able to do much. In order to set your presentation to open directly in present mode, it's very simple. When you're ready, like when your slide deck's done, you can go to File, Publish to Web, and then Start Slideshow when the player loads. You click publish, it gives you a link, and you copy that link wherever you want it to, and it'll open right up in the present mode and be ready to go for you, okay? I made this presentation in a different way today, and I'll show you later how I did it. And I'll also show you what I mean by the publishing mode, okay? Another tip and trick, like I said before, is to create your background first. Create everything that you don't want to move around, like everything you want to stay in one spot first. Put it all in your classroom, get it where you want it, and then you can save it as a photo. Go back in, open a new slide, and insert the photo as a background. Now everything's locked into place. I can click all around that room. I can make all kinds of like errors all I want. I can try to move that Bitmoji all I want. It's not going to go anywhere, okay? That's really great for, well, if you're like me and you put a lot of things in these classrooms, all the text boxes do get a little bit, they all kind of roll over each other a little bit. And so it does get easier once you lock sort of what you want to stay and not go away in a spot, and you can add things to it. Yeah.
What screen should I be seeing? Is it still the one with like the notebook paper?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because yep, good.
You're good. Nope, you're good. Also, before you publish anything, you want to change your settings where it says share to anyone in Allentown school district can view. That sets the permission, okay? If you're having problems with any slide deck right now, or any slide deck or any Google document, and your kids are telling you that they can't see it, you might have to go reset your permissions, okay? The way it defaults in Google is that anybody with the link can see it, but that's not necessarily true because Allentown has different privacy settings rolled into that. So as you probably know, only people in Allentown School District can view anything that you create on your school district account. So I can send this to anybody in the school district, but I can't send this to like my personal Gmail account. It won't open. Doesn't matter how many times I try to give access and permission, it blocks it. Okay. So in order for your students to be able to see whatever you create, you need to make sure that you change that setting to anyone in Allentown School District can view. Then they can see it when they open it without a password, without any permissions, just fine. Okay. And then you can make them the viewer, the commenter, or the editor. Another thing I'll add to that is if you want something that you want to send maybe to parents, but also to students, make it in your personal Google account, Gmail account first, and then send it to your school account. Because we can send things into Allentown, we just can't send things out of Allentown. So for example, I made, for my video, I made a Bitmoji classroom for our open house. Okay, I made it. Good job. Okay, hang on 1 second. I made sorry about that. Okay, shh. I made it in my Gmail account and I sent it to my Allentown account. So parents can access it and open every link because parents are not on our school district server, but I can send it to anybody in the district that needs it as well. Okay. How to make a Bitmoji classroom. All you're really doing is you're finding photos of things on the internet and you are putting them in your room. Okay, that's all it is. Those are all just different images I found online. Some people use clip art images. I use a bunch of real life images. You can do a little bit of both. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of whatever you want to make it. The key to getting it to work is to search transparent backgrounds. So whatever you're using, the background needs to have nothing behind it. Those little gray boxes, anything behind it. And yeah, and there are two ways to do that. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You can either search images right on your slide deck and type in just the name of item and then the word transparent. So for those chairs on my classroom, I typed in what I type in? Plush leather chair and then transparent. And all of the chairs that Google has with transparent backgrounds came up. Okay. If I can't find anything with a transparent background that I like, I can also use a site called remove.bg, and basically it removes the background image for you. So if you have, like, for example, that little canary in the bottom corner, that little canary I got off Google, and there was a blue background on that little canary. All I did was I copied that image onto remove.bg, and it took away the blue background. Okay, that's all I needed to do. And I'll show you that in a little bit too. When you're making your classroom, the wall should take up about 2/3 of the page. And you can use page setup to change the overall size of your room. If you notice, my slides are a little bit bigger than a normal slide deck would be. You can play around with the size of your room and make it kind of whatever you want. I just sort of wanted to elongate the room a little bit for today. So I just played with the overall size of the room. And if you want to see what people will see when you show this, like what your kids will see, you can always sort of check the size and check how things are going just by clicking present and putting it in present mode and then escaping back out of it. So as you're creating your rooms, as you're making these up, at any point in time, if you want to see what everybody else would see, just click present. That lets you sort of know. That lets you know how things are looking, and then you can readjust. If you want to add a Bitmoji, and it's not something that you need, but if you do like it, there's an app that you need to put on your phone first. It's called the Bitmoji app. It's a creator. Yeah, there are templates online that you can buy, or there are tons for free, Gretchen, and I'll show you where to find those later today too. Bitmoji app is what you need on your phone to create your avatar. Then you download the Bitmoji Chrome extension from the Chrome extension store, and I'll show you that in a little bit later too. And you click on the extension to choose your Bitmoji. Okay, so it's like a two-step process for creating Bitmojis. And again, it's not something that necessarily you need. All right, so let's take a look then at Google Classroom. I think that Google Classroom has gotten a lot more user-friendly. I've been using Google Classroom for about 5 years now. Google really pays attention to what teachers want, and they really listen to feedback. So if there's ever something that you like or don't like or you want, and you click that little question mark at the bottom of your Google page, that takes you to a feedback section of Google. And you can tell them what you like and don't like. And they really do listen to teachers because they really make a lot of changes based on what teachers tell them. One of those things was the grade book. Another of those things was scheduling assignments. Those were not always part of Google Classroom. They came about because teachers said that they wanted them. All right. So the stream is used for announcements and comments. Any assignment that you create in the classwork section automatically creates an announcement in the stream. You cannot delete it. If you delete it, it basically will delete the assignment. Hang on, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. The stream is very confusing for students. You can go to any announcement that you make, and you can click those little 3 dots and you can move it to the top, but that's about all you can do. You can't lock assignments on the top of the page. You can't lock them anywhere. So any announcement that you think is really important, the second that you load an assignment or you have an assignment scheduled and it opens, it's going to move down the list. If you have a lot of assignments in one day, you know, a kid can go on and that really important announcement that you want to make is no longer at the top of the page. And they have to scroll through the page to find what they need. My virtual classroom actually came about because I asked my students last year for feedback. And one of the things they said was find a way to put announcements somewhere else instead of the stream, because it's really hard to go back and forth and try to find things. Or, you know, we gave out a lot of information in the spring to those kids. And they would remember that I put it up there, but wouldn't remember what it was. And they'd have to scroll back and forth to find it. So my virtual classroom came out of the feedback I got from my students wanting a sort of a hub for information. Okay, so my virtual classroom is a hub now for all the information that would really go in my stream. Okay, classwork. The classwork tab is where you can post materials, assignments, quizzes, links, videos, you name it. The classwork tab is different from the stream in that you can create topics to organize your assignment. So if you didn't know that, that's something that you can do. You can, when you go to create and you create a topic, the topic drops, you can drop any assignment into that topic. You can also move topics to any order you want. So for example, in all of my Google Classrooms, the very first topic is my virtual classroom. And then there's the link to that slide. Okay, that always stays at the top of my page. So whenever, no matter how many other topics I make, and I organize my things by the week. Doesn't matter how many weeks we'll have, by the time we go back to school, my virtual classroom link will always be at the very top of my classwork page. Okay, so that is really helpful for students. If you, for example, if you want all of your Zoom links, put all of your Zoom links in a topic and put that topic at the very top of your classwork page. Teach the kids to go right to that topic for all of their Zoom links. Okay, once you show them where things are and sort of show them how you have things organized, they're going to remember. It's just like your classroom. Here's where I keep my folders. Here's where I keep my pencils. Here's where you go for this. Here's where you go for that. Google Classroom is the same thing. It's just your virtual place for it. So if you set it up in a way that it's organized and sort of easy to figure out, your kids will get really used to where to look for certain information. Okay. Kids can toggle between topics using the content list. Just like if you go to classwork, you have that content list on the side where you can see all your topics. Kids have the same thing and they can toggle between them. You can also post multiple things in each assignment. So when you create a new assignment, let's say that we weren't using Edgenuity and we were creating our own work. Okay. So I'm going to create an assignment for Poe, because I would be probably doing Poe right now. I can put in one assignment, I can put a video link to a documentary on Poe. I can put a slide deck with guided notes to go with the video link. And I can put a form that is the quiz that goes after the video link. I can make that all under one assignment header in my classroom. So you can arrange things so that kids know that this assignment has 3 pieces and put all those 3 pieces together under one assignment section. Okay. If you want, I have this, I call it the bunker. You can join it. One of the hardest things we have as teachers in technology is not being able to see what the students see. We only see the teacher dashboard for a lot of things, and that's really hard and really confusing. So I created what's called the bunker. And basically what I'll do in the bunker is that is a join code, and it puts you in the bunker as a student. So if you want to see what students see, when we're done here, what I'll do is I'll load like a quiz. So if you want to see what students see when they go into the classwork tab, that'll be in there for you. Okay. If you want to make sure that your quizzes and stuff work, you can sort of create your own sort of, there's different, we call it bunkers, we call them sandboxes, and it's sort of your place to play around with things. I have one that I sort of use as my holding area. So I put all of my assignments when I'm making things for my, my classes, I start in the sandbox, and you can share out to all of your rooms that you have in Google Classroom. So I will get my topic together for a week in my sandbox, and then when I have everything ready and I know I have all my links and whatever I want in there, I then share it to all of my classes. So if you want to know what students see, that is what you can see, what you can use, okay, the bunker. Grades. Any created assignment appears in the grade section. It will not show material. So if you use that material thing, don't put an assignment in there that you want graded, because it won't appear in your grade section. Assignments appear in order of creation in descending order. So your first assignment is at the very back of the list. You cannot move the order of assignments, but you can delete them, you can edit them, and you can return all of the grades at one time. It tells you when assignments were handed in after the due date, which is one of my favorite things. So if you go to the grades, what you're seeing is what your students see. They have access to their Google Classroom grades. If they go to grades, you're just seeing them for every student you have. It tells you if a student has an assignment missing. It shows you the ones you've already graded. It shows you the ones that have been turned in, but you still have to grade. And it shows you if the student turned it in late, it'll say done late underneath the grade spot. So it's a really great way to tell very quickly who has exactly turned things in and who has not. Here's just a few little tips and tricks. Change the color of the banner of your header or upload a photo to customize your classroom. And I'm gonna send you all, at the end of the presentation, I'm gonna put the link for this slide deck so you all have it. But if you click here, I have a tutorial for you that shows you how to change your header, how to customize your header. Google Classroom has built-in rubrics. They're really easy to make and they can be reused. They are way more user-friendly than attaching others. And when you return assignment to a student, they can see the rubric, so they know exactly how you graded them. Scheduling helps with taking attendance. So for example, I have a daily warm-up that I give my classes. I schedule it so that it goes live when class starts. So tomorrow, second period, my warm-up will go live at 8 a.m. Okay. I do my warm-up in Google Forms. So it timestamps when students submit it. All I have to do is look at the responses and change my responses into a spreadsheet. And I know exactly who is in my class from 8 to 9:30 and who was not. Okay, it makes attendance go so much faster. I don't have to worry about even looking at who was in Zoom, who was not in Zoom. I can go right there and I know exactly who was at least in Google Classroom to get their attendance from 8 to 9:30. Topics keep everything organized for you and your students. I do my topics by the week, so they know the week of everything that they're going to need that week is going to drop into that topic, and they know to look there every time.
Mommy,
Hang on.
I know let's eat fish.
Okay. Clicking the turn in button or marking as done is how students show their assignment is complete. If you are getting emails that say,
Fish yesterday.
yeah, no, you didn't have fish. If you get emails that say that so-and-so has invited you to edit or so-and-so has invited you to view, that means that student did not click turn in or mark as done. That student shared their work with you. And that's fine. But in Google Classroom, if you're using the grade section, it's not going to show up there. It's going to show that it's missing because that student did not actually turn it in. Also, what it does is it clogs up your Google Drive because anything shared with you goes to your Google Drive. So teach kids how to not hit the share button and to click turn it in or mark as done so that you don't get a million different emails for things and you can actually grade it and turn it back into them. If you like to make comments on kids' work, there is a comment bank that you can use to make comments as well. So Google Apps. The big ones I think are Drive, Slides, and Forms. Google Drive is your folder, really. It's like in Windows, you have your folders. This is what Google Drive is. It is the landing spot for everything you create in G Suite. Any work that you do or anything that is shared with you auto saves to your drive. You can organize your drive with folders. You can share your folders with other people. You can even share your entire drive with people. You can move things around in Drive to fit your needs. If you use Google Meet or you're using Screencastify, those recordings automatically save into the drive. And the search option in Drive allows you to search for anything that you have in there by name, but also by file type. So if you don't remember the name of a form you created, but you know that you created it in Forms, you can search Forms and all of the forms you've ever made or had shared with you will pop up there. Okay. So what it looks like. When you open your drive, you're going to see at the top the quick access section. And that's going to hold the last 5 or 6 items that you worked on or opened for quick reference. If you've shared any items and somebody else was working in them, it will also pop up there too. So if your team, for example, if you have a shared slide deck that you're working on, let's say special ed department is working on something and you share it with members of the special ed department and somebody went in and edited it, it will show up in your quick access session, even if you did not touch it yourself. So it lets you know that somebody was in there working on it, okay? Your folders appear in alphabetical order, beginning with emojis and numbers. Any file not moved into a folder appears below the folder section. So if you scroll down through your drive, you have quick access and then your folders and then all of your files. Newest first. Or the most recently opened first. It will sort of constantly recycle itself. The left side of your drive page is your menu, and that allows you at the top to create a new presentation right from the drive. If you click new, you can open up a new document, a new slide deck, a new sheet, a new form, and I think even a couple other things as well. It also lists your drive contents using the drop-down menu. You also have a shared drive folder. So almost all of you in here are in one of the 4 major content areas that has those choice boards. If you can't figure out where to access your choice board and you go to shared with me, or you go, actually I lie, if you go to shared drives, because what Allentown did was they shared the entire drive with us. If you go to shared drives in Google Drive, that is where you will find the folder that has your choice boards. Okay, so if some of you have been trying to figure out where they are and thought you maybe deleted them or you deleted the email, it's hard to delete things in Google. They're always there. Go to shared drive. I forget what they named it. It doesn't say choice boards. It's something, I think something assessments 2020, 2021. But that is where you will find all of the folders for all of the high school choice boards. Okay, so if anybody's been looking for those, that's where they are. Thank you, Jeff. Performance assessments. That is where you'll find them. On the right, there's a little menu that gives you access to your calendar, Google Keep, which is a note-taking app, and then a task list. So if you know there are certain things you want to get done in Google today, you can make your own task list, and that'll appear basically in any of the Google apps that you use. You can customize Drive a little bit, but not too much. For example, you cannot rearrange the order of the folders to suit your needs. They will always appear in alphabetical order, but they appear in that order starting with emojis. So what a lot of people have started to do is to find an emoji to represent one of their folder and put it in front of the name of their folder. Or you can there's a great site that I have on here that when I share it, you'll be able to open it. It is an emoji and number site. So you put a number in front of your folder and that way it will reorder your folders in that order for you. So there's little ways around it. You can color code your folders as well. There's not a lot of color options. I think it's like 8, but you can still color code them. So this is great if you have multiple subjects or multiple grade levels. You can assign a different color to each grade level or to each content area. And you know that like all of the purple folders are my 10th graders. All of the green folders are my 9th graders. All of the blue folders are administrative stuff, however you want to do it. Folders are your friend, just like, when in your documents from Windows, right? If you don't put things in folders, it gets really, really difficult really quickly to find things. Create folders and organize. You'll learn to find things faster and it won't look so overwhelming. My drive, I can tell you, I've been organizing it, but it's still a hot mess and I try to ignore it as much as I can, but I have been diligent about giving myself, there's no football today, about 10-15 minutes a day to try to reorganize it a little bit. And then use the drop down arrow on the search bar to search by file type. So if you're looking for, like I said, if you're looking for something and you can't remember what it's called, but it was a slide deck, search slides and all of the slides you have in your drive will appear there. These are just 2 things to show you. Shared drives used to be called team drives, and this is really just some graphics for you to show what exactly it means when you share a drive with other people, what sort of they have different names for different permissions and what those permissions mean. Same with how you can, if you add the Drive app to your phone, you can use it as a document scanner. So this just goes over that with you. Slides is probably my favorite Google app. You can use it for anything, literally anything. You can make presentations, you can make worksheets, you can make flyers, you can make newsletters, etc. Google Docs is a word processor. If you are doing anything that is beyond typing an essay or a letter, your best bet is to use Google Slides. It's way more user-friendly. You can move those text boxes around so much easier. You can change the size of your slides to basically any size you want. And you can make it look very nice and pretty. It has way more bells and whistles than Google Docs. So if you are not just typing something with words, use Google Slides, okay? It can be edited by multiple people in real time. I could send all of you the link to my slide deck right now, and I can make all of you editors, and you could go in and put anything you want up here to your heart's content. All right. This is really great for group work and group projects. You can assign a slide deck to a certain amount of kids, and they can work together on that slide deck in real time. You can assign them each a slide, and they can work together in real time, and you can go in and you can see what they're doing. Okay. There's also something called version history. If a kid tells you that their slide got messed up and they don't know how it happened, you can go back and look in version history and see exactly when something happened and who did it, which is really great when kids say, oh, something got deleted or somebody messed something up that I was doing. You can see who and when and sort of what happened. Slides are completely customizable. You can use themes from Google, you can make your own, or you can import themes using Slides Carnival or Slides Mania. This is actually a Slides Carnival slide, this notebook. I got it from Slides Carnival. There are thousands of different themes that you can use. So Gretchen, you can, like I said, you can buy them. Bitmojis you were talking about, slides, thousands and thousands for free. Do not buy a theme for slides because it's probably out there. Somebody probably already made it. You can link slide decks to other presentations. You can even link slides in the same presentation. So for example, if you want to know how I keep getting back to my virtual classroom, this canary is a link to my very first slide. So all I have to do to go back to my virtual classroom is I put the canary on the page, and when I set up the page, I made this canary a link to slide 1. So every time I hit the canary on every single page, I go right back to my classroom. I go right back to that virtual classroom, okay? Another little trick that you can use if you're doing a presentation is I have a lot of different things in this presentation. So I've numbered each part of the presentation up here. This is slide 1 of 2 for Google Slides, okay? Work smarter, not harder. Give yourself little things on your slide decks to make your presentation work a lot faster. Slide deck works with Pear Deck and Nearpod to create engaging interactive presentations. Like I said, you can open it in present mode and it'll automatically advance. You can set it up from anything from 3 seconds to 1 minute. You can link websites and videos. And like I said, if you're doing anything other than writing a paper, Slides is way more user-friendly and versatile. You can even link forms to slides. You can download more fonts right from your slide deck by clicking the Add Fonts at the top of the drop-down menu. If you're grading in slides, you can click the Add Comment, and you can add a comment to any slide section. It will highlight for the student to know that there's a comment there. One thing that you do need to do, just like Word, it defaults to that 16 point between lines. So you do need to go to the line spacing option and choose custom spacing to reset that to 0 if you don't want those big spaces between each line that you type. Like I said, if you want to only use a certain slide, you can copy and then paste it into a new one. So I only wanted to use this background from an entire slide deck I found on Slides Carnival. All I did to put this on my slide deck was copy this slide and then from the Slides Carnival slide and then paste it onto this one, the background. And then I duplicated it so that the background appeared every time I wanted it to appear. You have version history that allows you can restore your slide to a previous point in time. You can look at who was working and when. And then to make a copy for yourself or to redo something, you want to click make a copy to edit any deck shared with you for your own needs. So today I'm going to share this deck with you. If you like this background and you want to use this background in your own presentation, all you need to do is go to File, Make a Copy. It will make a copy of this slide deck, and then you can erase everything I put and make all of your own stuff without having to lose the original slide or mess up my slides. Forms is my other favorite thing. And I'm going to go a little quickly here because we're running out of time. There's a lot to cover. Forms is really great for surveys, contact forms, quizzes, feedback, warm-ups, reflections, logs, you name it, you can do it in forms. You can customize them. You can embed videos. You can embed images. You can create checkboxes, multiple choice, short answers, paragraphs. Responses you can see in different views, such as a summary view, an individual view. You can download all of your responses into a spreadsheet. Forms can be shared with others for editing. You can reuse forms by making a copy. So for example, I do my warm-up every day. I do not create a new form to do it. All I do is go to the last form I used for the warm-up. I make a copy. I change the date. I delete the slide that I use for the quote that I put up, and I put in a new quote, and that's all I do. I don't have to remake anything. I don't remake the name, what do I have on there? The kid has to tell me their name, and then the answer slide, I don't.
Miss Sal, then are the old ones gone then?
Nope, the old ones are still there.
Oh.
Every time when you use make a copy, it creates a brand new copy for you and saves the old one.
Okay.
So all the other ones will always be there. The only time it won't is if you don't click make a copy and you edit what you already have. So if you want a copy of all your old ones, maybe to like reuse for next year or something, you just click make a copy to create a new form. And then, like I said, you can change what you want to change. Your old copy will still always be there. So I'm doing growth mindset. I have a growth mindset slide deck. All I'm doing for every new warm-up is changing the quote. So now if I want to use all of my warm-ups next year, all I need to do is open them and change the dates.
And if the kids need to access, so say a kid wants to log on and then do 10 that they missed, even though they're not going to get full credit, they can access those still?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have them in Google Classroom for them, they can access them.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you say you use a slide to ask the question, or are you changing the question on the form itself?
I actually use a snipping tool to take a picture of a slide from another deck, and then I insert it as an image onto my form. You can create a self-grading quiz using forms. I have a quiz embedded in here. So when I send this slide deck to you guys, you can take a quiz. You can see what it does. It will grade it for you. So it's 2 questions I created for you. You click on your answers and you hit submit, and it will tell you your score. You can create mini lessons and jump to sections based on the answers. If you click this, you'll have an example of that. So what you respond to in the first question sends you on a different path in the exact same form. A snipping tool is used to snip images, and I'll show you guys that in a second. To share with others or to get a link, all you have to do is click send and then embed, and that gives you the link that you can use and to share with students or really anybody. If you need to use a form you created for yourself. So for example, I use a form, you're okay. I use a form for my parent log. If you click the preview button, which is the little eye at the top of the form, it'll turn the form into one that you then can actually use as a user and not as the editor. Okay. So if you, like I said, if I created a parent log. Anytime I want to use my parent log, I open the form and I click the preview button. The preview button puts it in a mode that I then can act as the person who's filling out the form. All right. If you don't put it in preview mode, It won't let you fill out the form. It'll only let you edit the questions. Forms, we could literally do an entire hour on itself. Same with slides. Other Google apps. Keep is a note-taking app where you can share your notes with others, which is really great for co-teachers. You can create checklists. You can add images and labels, and you can import your notes into Google Docs. Sheets is just like Excel. It's a collaborative spreadsheet. You can attach multiple sheets to an original. You can share with others or give them access in real time. So, I know that we use it in summer school for attendance. You can also embed images, tables, and links and all other kinds of data stuff into Sheets. There's actually a lot you can do with Sheets. Sites, you can create your own class website or use it for a class resource page or even a parent page. It's very user-friendly. I had to make a website as a project for one of my my grad classes. And I made the page in a half an hour. I just threw some stuff on there. It took me a half hour. Calendar, you can make multiple calendars and sync them to different accounts, share with others, and more. All of Google apps work together. That's the idea. They interchange and work together to try to make it seamless for you. If you want to make videos for your students, a great tool is called Loom. It is a free video creator on the web. It allows you to create, edit, and share your videos. All of the videos I made in here are created using Loom. If you click on that, we'll take you to the Loom for Education page. Loom is giving educators their premium version free for the entire school year. All you have to do is follow the steps on that page to verify that you are an educator, and takes them a day or two, and they will change your access to the premium account for free. Premium just allows you to make unlimited videos, and there is no time limit on the videos. The free account only gives you, I think, 25 videos, and they have to be 5 minutes or less. You can choose to show yourself in your video in the corner, or you can not. It is web-based, so your video is all saved to an online account. You can easily share the links and embed them really into anything, and it does give you a nice little countdown to let you know when the recording starts. There is a little problem though, and I found it out the hard way this weekend when I was making the video to teach you how to make a custom banner for Google Classroom. I finally got the video where I wanted it without being interrupted by a child. And when I played it back, I just got this flashing on the screen. If that happens to you, you need to go into Chrome, and this tells you what to do to fix it. So this is the playback fix. So it might not happen for all of you if you use Loom, but if it does happen to you, this gives you the fix for it. Chrome add-ons. The Chrome extension web store, this is the link to that site. I tried to get it so that my email would not appear like I was signed in, but it kept showing it. So if it does, if my email appears at the top, please sign me out and then sign in under your own account. Chrome extensions are what those little icons are next to your address bar, or Google calls it the Omnibox, and they are quick links to different tools and add-ons. You can actually make your Omnibox shorter or longer to fit more on there, but if not, there's a drop-down menu that will hold all of your other extensions. You need a Bitmoji extension to make the Bitmoji for your Bitmoji classroom. There's extensions for Zoom, there's extensions for Clever, there's extensions for Pandora, there's extensions for Loom, there's extensions for basically everything. Too many of them will make your browser run slower. I know this from experience, but basically you can search the Chrome Web Store for any kind of extension. Here's the thing with Chrome extensions. If you want your student to have one, there's ones that are really great for Ls that will allow them to have the text read aloud to them, for example, or will allow them to highlight a text and have it translated into any language they want. They have to add this extension to their computer. So yours will not share out to them, all right? You're going to have to show them where and how to get the extension. They can get it, students have access to it, but anything that you want them to use as an extension, they have to add themselves, okay? Pear Deck and Nearpod we're not gonna get to today. They are really great things to use to amp up your slide decks, to create more levels of engagement. They're interactive, so you can put polls and interactive questions and all kinds of things into your slides with them. We'll talk about those at another time. Here are just some tips and tricks, and then I have a few minutes for questions. I'll answer that question in a second, Sam, about extensions. Don't overwhelm yourself. I showed you a lot of things today. My advice is this: choose one and then learn as much as you can about it before learning something else, okay? Pick things that will make your life easier. Work smarter, not harder. You don't have to use all of these things. You can, but use the ones that will help you the most first, and then add in other things later. Google Classroom really helps with some management items. Attendance, it really helps with attendance. It really helps with things like grades. There's a snipping tool in Windows, and I'll show it to you in a second when I exit the present mode, that allows you to snip things like PDFs and then make them editable. You can play around with these apps and sites. Nothing you do on any of these things is going to break your computer. You're not going to download a virus. You're not going to do anything that's going to mess anything up where you have to call Bill Best to come fix it, okay? Play around with this stuff. Don't be afraid to see how it works. That's the best thing you can do to learn how to work things, okay? The more comfortable you become with these tools, the more comfortable you're going to be using them and then teaching your students how to use them. And it's okay if when you're teaching, that you mess it up a little bit. Kids like to see that we're humans, and they like to see that we don't know everything. And so don't be afraid to sort of maybe work through some of this stuff with your kids. Tell them that you're learning it. Tell them maybe there's something they know and they can help you with. But chances are they're learning it too, and they will be more comfortable if you're sort of learning it together. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a bunch of teachers that do know a lot about technology. I'm always available and willing to help you with anything. So shoot me an email, ask me a question, and I'll definitely help you. And then there's always there's a bunch of other websites and resources that I have listed for you here. These are some really great websites that you can use for a bunch of different things in your classrooms. And then these are some really great resources. Basically, I learned all this stuff because I went to every webinar that they offered in the spring and summer, okay? CLIU 21 offered a host of webinars this spring and summer. I went to all of them. PSEA offered an entire host of webinars. I went to all of them. Simple K-12 offered a bunch of free ones. I went to those. EdCamp, Applied Skills. Gretchen, you don't have to pay for any of your Bitmoji backgrounds. If you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook page called Bitmoji Craze for Educators. It has literally thousands of Bitmoji classrooms that educators have created and shared for free. Please use that as a place for you to go to take a look at Bitmoji classrooms and use those backgrounds. And then Camp Champ is a resource page for social emotional learning, which is really important right now. If you click on this heart, this picture right here, it will take you to the Camp Champ page. There's a page for students, there's a page for educators. And then this is a feedback form. I would be very, very, very appreciated if you filled that out for me today. I've been working with PSEA to make these presentations and do them for the union. So this is my first one. You guys were my guinea pigs today. So if you could fill out that feedback form, I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna drop the link to the slides in the chat right now. Let me exit. And now I'll give you sort of a little quick tour. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. You're getting a copy of every single slide I made today, including my master for the classroom. These are all unlocked. So if you like the background and you like some of the stuff in here, you can delete what you don't want. And now you have some things for your own virtual classroom, okay? Here's the rest of my slide deck. If you just want the background here, all you have to do is click on that slide. Well, if you want to do anything on your own, go to File and then make a copy of the entire presentation, and it will make your own copy for you to edit. If you do it on here, you'll edit what I have. So make your own copy first. Stop. If you want this background, all you have to do then is copy the slide. Or actually, really, if you copy the entire presentation, you can just get rid of everything I wrote and then use that slide. Like I said,
Michelle.
Yeah.
I clicked on the link and then that you put in the chat, and I was trying to make a copy, and it says view only, ask for request for access.
Okay, hang on. I'll fix it.
Can you change it?
Yep.
I just didn't know if that like sent you 10 million messages. If we all do that.
All right, now click on it and see what it does. See if it lets you make a copy.
Yes, now you can.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, the snipping tool. If you have a Windows computer, next to your little windows, there's a little magnifying glass. If you start typing in snipping, a snipping tool will appear. Let me slide it. I'm using two monitors so you can't see it.
Where's the magnifying glass, Michelle?
The bottom of your page. If you're on a Windows computer, right next to the
Yep.
window sign, there's that
Yep.
magnifying glass.
Okie doke.
Start typing in snipping tool, and this will appear. Watch what happens to my screen when I click new. Everything grays out, and I get this little plus sign. And all I need to do is I hold down on I left click on my mouse and hold down, and I drag it across whatever I want to take a picture of. If I save it, and I just save it to my desktop because it's easier. I'm just gonna save it as capture. And now I'll come down here. I'll add a new slide. And let's say I want that as my background. Get rid of this stuff first. I'll insert from the computer. I'll upload my image from the computer. There's capture. And there it is. So now, that'll upload it as an image. If I want to make it a background, so I want to add, let's say I want to add text boxes to it so that kids can type on that. I go to background, choose image, capture, and now it's a background. Now I can't move it. But if I want a student to type on it, I can add a text box, and now they can type on it. Okay, quick and easy way for guided notes, for anything that you have as a PDF file that you want kids to use as a worksheet. That's how you can do it without having to download anything, buy anything. Apple Command Shift 4. Thank you, Carly. All right, so I'm going to stop recording. If you guys want to stick around, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Michelle, that text box, will that allow the students to like do a short answer or only one word? Or would it, like, as long as they're typing, will it capture